Thank you, Anushka. Now, I'm delighted to be joined by former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert. Mr. Olmert, thank you so much for joining us tonight. When you heard the UN's Tom Fletcher talk yesterday evening about 2.1 million, all 2.1 million Palestinians in Gaza facing famine, what was your reaction?
The same as yours. I said in a couple of interviews yesterday and today that I'm not familiar with all the specific details and the percentages that were provided now. And I don't know exactly who can measure it precisely to the dot. But generally speaking, I think that this is totally unacceptable, totally unbearable, and totally unforgivable. This is something that needs to be taken care of, and it is incumbent upon the government of Israel to provide all the necessary humanitarian needs of the population in Gaza. And there can be no excuse. There is something that needs to be done immediately. I think that we have to end the war immediately. Anyway, and get back all the hostages and release Palestinian prisoners and have an agreement and pull out from Gaza. But we definitely have to provide the humanitarian needs of the population, and this is intolerable, unacceptable, and unforgivable.
So what would you say to the Israeli Defense Secretary, Defense Minister Israel Katz, who's actually been explicit in saying that withholding food is a weapon of war against Hamas? I mean, I have to say the UN would say, just his words say that Israel's government is currently complicit in a war crime.
Again, I can say only this. I speak so much and so often, almost 4 or 5 times a day in the different media across the world, that I don't trust, don't believe, don't accept the Israeli government statements, whether the Prime Minister or the Minister of Defense, so I don't want to get into the argument about specifics. I say, in principle, what happens today in Gaza is totally unacceptable, intolerable, and unforgivable. And this is the responsibility of the Israeli government and no one else. It's incumbent upon us. We have to make sure that all the humanitarian needs of the population are taken care of in the most effective manner immediately. Full stop.
I mean, the Israeli government says, and this is one of its other reasons for not letting the aid in, is that it doesn't trust the United Nations to distribute it. I have to say, with the exception possibly of Donald Trump, and I'm not quite clear what Donald Trump's position is on this at the moment because he seems to move around a bit, but there's no other government in the world that doesn't trust the UN to distribute the aid.
So let's put it this way. The United States President, I just heard him say today that the people of Gaza needs to be supported and helped and that food must be provided to them. So there was an idea, and I think it's been raised in Israel, that there will be an American company providing and making all the necessary arrangements with the assistance of the Egyptians and other. I don't care who will do it. I know that this is the responsibility of the Israeli government to make sure that it will be provided. If they don't trust the United Nations, they can trust an American company, a civil company that will do it, whoever. That needs to be taken care of. No excuse can be accepted.
You want peace. Is there any prospect of peace while Netanyahu remains Prime Minister?
Well, we all hope. We're making every possible effort. One has to be appreciative of this. Hundreds of thousands of Israelis are rioting and demonstrating almost on a daily basis cross-country. Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, in townships cross-country against the government of Netanyahu. The polls show that more than 60% of the population do not trust the Prime Minister, do not believe that the considerations made by the government of Israel and the Prime Minister based on the real, genuine national security interest of the State of Israel, that mostly it is done because of personal political interest, of political survivability, whatever. So I think we are quite close to the collapse of Netanyahu. And I hope that there will be elections soon. I don't know how soon. Don't try to ask me because I don't know. But I believe that the concerted effort and also the developments over the last few days, particularly, I think the appearance at this stage, that President Trump is not particularly enthusiastic about Netanyahu. The fact that he ignored Israel in this trip to the Middle East is unprecedented in American modern history. No president would have ever done it. The fact that they negotiated directly with Hamas behind the back of the Israeli government, which was perhaps unavoidable because the Israeli government doesn't want to return back the hostages, because it doesn't want to stop the war. It wants to continue the military confrontations with Hamas and to occupy Gaza for an indefinite period of time. So the Americans are starting to shift a little bit. And I hope that at some point, sooner than later, President Trump, as we all know him, he can do things which were not done perhaps before by any American president. He will summon Netanyahu and say to him, enough is enough.
But do you think he will do that? And because Netanyahu is threatening invasion in a matter of days, will Trump prevent that?
I think Trump can prevent it. No one else can do it. Now, someone told you a couple of weeks ago that Trump will summon the new ISIS leader of Syria into Saudi Arabia and be so impressed with him, how good looking he is and what a brave soldier he is. He was a soldier in ISIS, by the way. Yeah. And say that he removes all the sanctions against Syria and that he's looking forward having Syria as part of the Abraham Accords. You would be quite surprised, right? He did it. So Trump can do things that perhaps no one else did. I hope. I don't know. Yeah, as everyone says, he's a little bit unpredictable. But I think that if he will do it, and he can do it, that can make a difference. If he will summon Netanyahu and tell Netanyahu, enough is enough. You have been manipulating so many of us for such a long time, no more. I think that if it will not force Netanyahu, it will bring the collapse of the government.
Ehud Olmert, it's been a great pleasure talking to you tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you'll join us again soon. Thank you again.
Thank you. Take care.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on all post notifications to catch the ills, spills, and thrills of the mad, mad world of politics.